Every school has this kind of invisible operating system. It's a set of rules that decides everything from who's in charge to how students are treated. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the official blueprint for schools in Namibia and really see how it's designed to work right from the ground up. So, what really holds a school together? I mean, beyond the bricks and mortar, beyond the teachers and students, what's that invisible framework that makes sure everyone has a clear path and a genuine voice in their own education? Well, it all comes down to a really carefully constructed blueprint. It's this whole legal framework of rights, rules, and responsibilities that connects everybody, from the top levels of government all the way down to a single student sitting in a classroom. And right at the very heart of this entire blueprint is this incredibly powerful foundational promise from the Namibian Constitution. Honestly, this one sentence, it's the bedrock. Everything else we're going to talk about is built right on top of it. So that promise is the perfect place for us to start. See, before you can even think about writing a single rule for a school, you absolutely need this national commitment, this constitutional foundation that guarantees education is for everyone. Let's just break down what this guarantee actually means in the real world. Because it's not some vague idea, it's a very specific set of commitments. Education is for everyone, period. Primary school isn't optional, it's compulsory, and it has to be free. Plus, kids are required to stay in school until they either finish primary school or they turn 16. It's all about ensuring universal access. And here's how that big constitutional idea becomes a day-to-day reality. The Constitution makes the promise, right? But it's the Education Act of 2001 that's like the detailed instruction manual. It spells out exactly how to put that promise into action in every single school. Okay, so if the government sets the big rules, who's actually in charge on a day-to-day basis? Well, this is where the school board comes in. And the way it's designed is pretty fascinating. It's set up to be a true partnership with the community. And the structure of the board really shows this partnership in action. Just look at the breakdown here. Parents, who aren't employed by the school, they have to be the majority. Now that is a powerful, deliberate choice. It legally guarantees that the community's voice is the loudest one in the room, making sure decisions are really grounded in what's best for the families. Of course, they're joined by teachers, the principal, and in secondary schools, even the learners get a seat at the table. So how does this board actually get formed? Well, it's not an appointment process. It's a real democratic election. The whole thing is designed to be transparent and led by the community. It starts with a public notice, then a meeting for nominations, which leads to a formal election, and finally, the brand new board elects its own officers. It's a total grassroots process, from start to finish. Okay, so we've got the foundation and we've got the governance structure. Now let's focus on the entire reason all of this exists in the first place, the learners. How does this legal framework actually shape their journey through the school system? When we talk about serious discipline, the rules are very, very clear about who has the authority to do what. A suspension, that's a decision made at the school level by the school board, and parents have a clear path to appeal it. But expulsion, that's way more serious, and it can't be decided by the school alone. The board can only recommend it. The final call rests with the permanent secretary, and there's an even higher level of appeal to the minister. It's a real system of checks and balances. And here we have one of the most important, one of the most unambiguous rules in the entire system. Section 56 of the Education Act is crystal clear. Any teacher who uses corporal punishment is committing misconduct. This isn't a guideline, there's no gray area, it is a hard line. It signals this fundamental shift to creating a learning environment that's built on respect, not on fear. That hard line on corporal punishment is really just one part of a much bigger blueprint for how teachers should conduct themselves. It's not just about what they can't do, there's this comprehensive guide for what they must do, and it's called the Professional Teacher's Code of Conduct. This document right here, it sets the absolute minimum professional standards for every single teacher. Think of it like the official rulebook that guarantees a consistent level of professionalism, of care, and of conduct in every classroom all across the country. At the very heart of this teacher's code is a really core legal idea in loco parentis. It's a Latin phrase, I know, but what it means is simple and profound, in the place of a parent. The code makes it totally explicit. When a child is at school, the teacher takes on this role. This really elevates their job way beyond just teaching math or history. It's a deep, profound duty of care for the well-being and safety of every single child. The code breaks all these responsibilities down into 4 key relationships. So towards the learners, it's all about dignity and safety. Towards parents, it's about partnership and communication. Towards their colleagues, it's about cooperation and mutual respect. And towards the profession itself, it's about upholding its honor and, staying up to date. And just like it outlines responsibilities, it also sets some very clear prohibitions to protect students and the integrity of the whole profession. There are absolute red lines here. No abuse of any kind, physical, emotional, or psychological. No corporal punishment, and absolutely no romantic or sexual involvement with a learner. The code even protects students from unfair practices, like a school trying to withhold a report card over unpaid school funds. So, we've gone through the Constitution, the school board, the rights of the learners, and the teacher's code. Let's kind of pull it all together now and ask the big question. Why does this whole intricate framework matter so much? See, at the end of the day, these aren't just rules for the sake of having rules. Every single piece we've looked at, the community-led school board, the rights of the student, that professional code for teachers, is a deliberate building block. And together, they are all designed to construct an environment that is safe, that is disciplined, and that is focused on one thing and one thing only, creating the absolute best possible conditions for learning. This really just leaves us with one final thought. If the Constitution is the big promise and the law is the guide for the journey, then who actually makes sure that journey is successful? The answer isn't a single person. It's everyone. It's the parents on the board, it's the principal, the teachers, and the entire community. The blueprint is just a piece of paper. It only works when it becomes a shared responsibility.